It was Victory and Death, right? That was the name?
Yeah. So it looks like we're streaming.
Yeah, I've just seen it. Just pops up on my screen.
Hopefully, this one will go through.
It says Going Nerdy's live. I'm clicking on the Going
We
Nerdy.
are back.
We're back. You've just got to readjust us on the screen, mate.
All right.
Because you've got it set up as if we were doing incoming transmission.
Well, you. All right. Well, then let me adjust that. Boop.
All right. Is it the same link?
It should be. But Emperor Goobatine, I'm sorry, man. But again, as mentioned before.
No. You need to adjust the. You need to adjust the zoom, not the size on OBS.
We're in a pyramid instead of.
Yeah, there you go.
I put you back. I'm just fiddling around with stuff. I'm fiddling. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us get going.
All right. And there you go. I put the new link in the listener lounge for Escape Pod members.
All right. Holy crap.
We'll do it live, damn it.
We'll do it live. All right. Okay, so we're back after some technical difficulties.
Which it wouldn't be a nerdy stream.
It wouldn't be a nerdy stream, right? It just wouldn't. Like, if I knew what I was doing, anyways. So, the episode begins.
I'm out of milk.
You're out of milk. You need some blue milk. That's what you need. Or chicky nuggies. So, the episode begins where it left off, right? They are still in the med bay.
Yeah. So it literally picks up right at the end of where the last episode let off.
Yeah. And it was interesting, right? Because they're like, how are we going to get out? And throughout the episode, there is this back and forth between Rex and Ahsoka. And we see it start here that she doesn't want to kill anybody, right? She does not want to kill these clones. And Rex is, he's Rex. He's willing to take down whatever he needs to take down, right? He's willing to do his job. And Ahsoka is, still not willing to kill anyone. So there's that cool moment where they're blowing through the door, or they're cutting through the door, and Ahsoka just forces it off its hinges, which I don't know who she's kidding. Whoever that door hit is dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not going to kill anyone, she says as she smashes a ton of door into 2 clone troopers.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that they survived that. That was absolutely death to the person that door hit. It just was, right?
She just broke their legs. That's all.
Sure.
Just a flesh wound.
If they die off camera, whatever, right? Disney doesn't get upset if they die off camera, right? Like Gaston when he fell from the balcony. Clearly that man is dead, but but he didn't die. He wasn't eaten by the beast, which would have been a much cooler ending for Gaston. Anyways,
no one tastes like Gaston.
No one tastes like Gaston. No one bastes like Gaston. So,
what are you yammering on about, you two?
Beauty and the Beast, man. Beauty and the Beast. Anyways, so
the book was better.
I'm sure it was. The book's always better. So they're going through, and Ahsoka and Rex just blast everyone. There are squads and squads of clone troopers, and they're going through and stunning and deflecting shots, and it looks like they get hit a couple of times both, but nothing serious. And and right,
that's why they had to fight so many, because the ones that they stun at the start, they get woken up and come back. They're only stunned for a short period of time.
That was one of the questions that I had. How long does the stun bolt last?
Stun doesn't last that long.
I feel like it would.
No, well, all right. A perfect example. Episode 4, New Hope.
Okay.
They stun Princess Leia. A few minutes later, they're walking at Vader.
I just assumed they stabbed her with some adrenaline.
Well, yeah, no, that's what they would have.
That's back into awakeness.
They would have called for a medic. Medic.
That's true. They did have those little probe droids hanging out, and so they do come back, obviously. But there's that moment where Junior Darth, you're a good man. Thank you for helping me through this challenging time of crappy. What do you call this? Technical issues. Where were we? What happens next?
Joe's asking for some help through this because this was emotional.
This was an emotional episode. This was. There were some serious moments where I got kind of choked up. Stab her with some adrenaline. Yeah, that's how I assumed Pulp Fiction when they wake up Leia, they just stab her in the chest, the heart. So Anakin, Ahsoka, and Rex are making their way out. They've got to find a plan, and Rex is like, "Oh, did you hear? Maul escaped."
And she said, "Yeah, I let him out.
I let him out.
Yeah, I let him out." And
you did what?
Yeah, that back and forth was. You gotta wonder. Like, Rex has just come to his senses here, and he has this moment where he's like, "All right, this kid's gonna help me out. She's gonna save me, my friend, obviously, and we're gonna get out together." But she makes some questionable choices. So Maul, I think this was the next scene. We see Maul walking through the hangar. Like, did Maul do, like, here's the thing. Did Maul do anything this episode except randomly walk around and kill people?
Well, yeah, he destroyed the
That's right.
The hyperdrive.
That's right. Because my thought was, like, every time we saw Maul, he was just like cruising the corridors, slowly, purposefully walking and destroying clones. Right? I mean, it just seemed like that was every time we saw him. But we do. As one of the entrances, one of the times that he's slowly walking, he slowly walks into the hyperdrive room. And
all of us in the watch party, damn!
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Unlimited power.
Yeah. So it shows us that Maul is a very powerful Force user here, and it shows just how powerful he is as he, first off, just slowly is throwing people around. I love that he takes off a helmet of someone, uses it to block deflect a blaster bolt, and then throws the helmet like a basketball to knock the person off the edge of the catwalk.
And there was also the time when he basically moved somebody's hands and got, made him shoot the other people. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
That was really cool. Yeah.
That
just
was
a wave of his hand.
Which, we've seen him do before. We saw him do at the end of the Battle of Mandalore, right? He just, when Bo-Katan is shooting at him, he's like, meh, 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 slapping it around. The blaster bolts. Let me clarify that. But so cool. Yeah, we see him force choke. That was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And then there's that moment where, and I do feel like this was kind of a Star Killer reference. Like, that was my first thought when Maul is pulling down the hyperdrive, right? He's pulling apart this mechanic. He's pulling apart these, like, the mechanics of the ship, and it comes out of hyperspace. To an undisclosed planet, right? We don't know what plane this is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it ends up snow covered. That's all.
We don't know. Like, my original thought, my first thought was Jakku, but without, if there's snow, that's not Jakku. Clearly.
So I'm trying to find out. I'm combing the internet right now, trying to find out, was that the negotiator that they were on?
I still think it was the negotiator.
It very much. If not, it was definitely the style of ship.
It was certainly the style of ship. Yeah,
it's very possible.
I mean, we see that Mace and in our game that we play, Mace and Mace and Kenobi both have the same ship.
Yeah, so it's a Venerator class Star Cruiser or something like that. I think. I'm not great with my ship, so if I said the wrong ship, just Anyways, so I think that it was, looking at the markings, and if you look at the episode leading to this, episode 9, when Ahsoka finally meets with Kenobi and Anakin, when they're making plans, they go their separate ways. It's very likely that that they just took Kenobi's ship and moved on, right? And Anakin took their ship and they went their way, right? So it's very possible that this was the negotiator. We don't have a planet as of yet. Now, I will say, interesting fact, and I say fact, keep in mind that this is unsubstantiated. Rumor, Dave Filoni, I believe, is going to be on Good Morning America tomorrow morning. Yeah. And that
watch party.
Well, I believe,
no, not another watch party.
Yeah.
I can't do that one.
But that's my thing. Is it's like, if Dave Filoni is going to be on Good Morning America tomorrow, he's definitely going to be talking about his experience with the Clone Wars, because who else would talk about the Clone Wars? It's, as we mentioned, it's the end of an era. It's the end of a generation of television. Tinfoil fact, yes. It's but there's a lot of different things he could be potentially talking about. In addition to that, I mean, clearly his work on The Mandalorian will definitely come up. And then, as we mentioned, as I was talking to Nev before the launch party, I believe, Taika Waititi. Is it Tico?
Waititi.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, so Taika Waititi, had just been announced that he is going to be directing a live action movie, and that's huge. But yeah, Dave Filoni tomorrow. I think a lot of that stuff's going to be talked about. So, let's see, who was it? Looking back at someone in the chat said that
the Venator.
The Venator. Is that what we are?
It's the Venator. It's not the negotiator.
Okay. All right. But yeah, based off of what we saw in the last episode, this episode with Maul walking through the.
Oh, sorry, the Venator is the model.
Yeah.
So it still could have been the negotiator.
Yeah. With Maul walking through the halls, this was a lot tamer than the last time he walked through halls. Right. So even though, yes, he did kill a lot of people, and the Force choke was
he didn't
awesome.
Dismember anybody.
He didn't cut people in half this time. Which I was going to say, what's he been doing this whole time that he's been walking around? But there were 3 days between I saw those episodes. Clearly there weren't 3 days of time that Maul's been walking around killing clones. Although, that would be kind of fun if it were the case. All right, so Maul takes down the hyperdrive, and they are pulled out of hyperspace, and the bridge just goes nuts. Like, we don't have engines. We see this moon ahead of us. We are going to crash. Yeah. He does. He essentially just crashes.
That's no moon.
He just crashes. Yeah. A full ship of clones. Right. Back to Ahsoka. Back to Rex. They are looking for a way out, and clearly all the escape pods are gone. And where do they have to go?
Oh, sorry.
What?
All escape pods gone and destroyed.
Yeah. They are. All escape pods are gone. They're all destroyed.
I blame Heinze.
I blame Heinze.
I actually blame Rex, because wasn't Rex the one that ordered the escape?
Rex was the one that gave the order, yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird that she points that back out to Rex. Like, oh, hey, by the way, all the escape pods are destroyed. I wonder if he's like, I don't know who did it. You know? So they go their separate ways, or they go to the, what do you call it? The hangar bay. And in the hangar bay, they put the droids to the test. They're like, all right, you do this, and you do this, right? One of them's got to find out why they're not in hyperspace anymore. One of them's got to find a ship, and one of them's got to open the hatch. I loved the droids in these episodes. It was really neat to see them in action, right? So they find their ship, or they find a ship, which it's weird to me that in that entire hangar bay there was only one ship, right? I mean, did anyone else find that just odd? Like, as I was watching it, I was like, why aren't there more ships? Why is there that only that one ship is available?
Because the other ones have already been used.
Maybe.
I mean, that used, destroyed. I mean, there was probably a lot of stuff left on Mandalore.
That's possible. That's true. The astromech crew was rolling hard. That is correct. And so, like, but they find this ship, they open the doors, and they make their escape, or they begin to make their escape. But before they do, a squadron of clones just sits out in front and is like, we're gonna stop you, right? And again, this is where it comes back up, where Ahsoka's like, look, I'm not going to kill anyone. And Rex points out, like, all of those guys out there, all of my brother, and he says that all of my brothers will stop us from getting off this ship. And she takes the mask off, and I mean, even saying it now, I got like goosebumps. He's crying. Rex is crying.
Yeah. This is the second time in as many episodes we've seen tears from Rex.
And the first was at the thought of killing Ahsoka, right? And now the second one is at the thought of killing his brothers. That's such a powerful thing, because we have it's the same voice actor. They're the same people, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're clones, but each one is so unique and different. And Rex has gotten to this point for us and for himself that he loves his brothers. He loves them as individuals. He's fought alongside these guys for years, right? And now he's forced to betray them as they betray the Jedi. But really, they're just carrying out orders. And it's such a powerful moment, and it goes, I think, to the ability of Dave Filoni and company to share, to create this story, these characters who are just so well developed, you know. Such a powerful. We survived it by not talking a lot. I think that's what it was. I don't know. Like, when you guys were watching this moment, what was going through your minds?
I was more looking back to see what the chat was, because literally I was watching it up on that screen. Thank you, Neil, for putting up a little Ahsoka Tano picture, so people didn't see the TV.
Yeah. Nev, what were your thoughts? What was going through your mind?
Oh, I kept on looking at the timer, thinking, no, there's only 10 minutes left. Oh, there's only 5 minutes left.
I wanted to do that too, but I didn't want to accidentally stop the show on me.
I was afraid. I was afraid of that. I pulled up the timer once, and I was like, there's 10 minutes, and like 4 of those minutes or 3 of those minutes are going to be,
it just went
so
too fast. I got caught up in it, and it just went really. It just because I was loving every minute of it. It just seemed like it went so fast.
Yeah. Man, and exactly, and it was.
But guys,
season finales are awesome, because there's always going to be some surprise in there.
Yeah.
There's going to be just something extra special about it. But it's sad because it's like. It's the end, it's really, really over.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, we thought it was really, really over at the end of season 6, but it wasn't over. It wasn't truly ended.
Yeah.
And it took 5 years to bring it back. I mean, for all we know, Dave Filoni has been given the go ahead by Lucasfilm to do a spin-off. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I want to see a spin-off. I want to see an Ahsoka spin-off. I want to see what she gets up to while she's in, just like Yoda goes into exile, just like Obi-Wan Kenobi goes into exile. She goes into it. I just want to see what if we're going to get a TV show, okay? If we're going to get a live-action TV show of Obi-Wan Kenobi and what he does while he's in exile on Tatooine. I think Ahsoka, would be just as good TV.
No.
Maybe that's what we're getting with the Ahsoka spinoff.
Yeah.
Maybe Rosario, do we know Rosario Dawson is signed on to play Ahsoka in the spinoff itself, or just on The Mandalorian?
Just on The Mandalorian, from what we can tell. There is no... there's no confirmation of that I can tell that she will be playing her own spin-off character. From what I
and you just went Roboto.
Did I? I hit my mic again. Is that better?
That's
better. Anyways,
oh, there it is.
Okay,
now it's perfect.
Anyway, yeah. So
you just needed to clear your robot throat.
I had to make some dad noises. Yeah, from what I can tell, there's no official word yet. I did get, so let me see this. Let me read this Taika Waititi post that I got. No, I don't see anything from Rosario Dawson. It does say, though, let's see. In addition to Rosario Dawson or the Taika Waititi getting his let's see, directly what will direct and co-write a new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release.
Theatrical release.
Yeah.
So we're getting a movie in the theaters.
Let's see.
I'm sold.
Yeah. In addition, you've got Leslie Headland, which this is a whole thing.
Yeah, no, that wasn't released by Disney or Lucasfilm. That's pure speculation. That's somebody inside Lucasfilm releasing rumor stuff that they shouldn't be releasing. So
not according to this email that I got from Walt Disney Studios Publicity.
No, well, there you go.
So
that's now confirmed, Neil.
So this is a confirmation that writer Leslie Headland is currently developing a new untitled Star Wars series for Disney Plus. Headland will write, executive produce, and serve as showrunner for the in-development series, which is to add to the growing list of Star Wars stories for Disney's streaming platform, including The Mandalorian, now in post-production of Season 2, and 2 other previously...
In post-production?
Yep. In post-production.
Whatever she's doing, I'm not interested.
I'm worried.
But I am interested in what Dave Filoni's doing.
The only way I think that this could... that I say the only way. I'm sure I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll find it enjoyable. And I'm sure that there will be moments that I will have problems with. The thing about this that I hope that it's not agenda driven. And if it is agenda driven, Dr. Aphra. I mean, I feel like I could get behind a Dr. Aphra.
Oh yeah, I could definitely get behind Dr. Aphra.
If it's, you tell me that I'm a terrible man baby, and as a man I'm wrong and bad or whatever, but you know, I would get behind an agenda-driven Dr. Aphra, potentially.
I'll get behind a good story. I won't get behind an agenda.
I personally won't move behind the agenda, but with Dr. Aphra, I could let some of the agenda slide. You know
what agenda?
I don't know.
She's an awesome character. There's no agenda.
Dr. Aphra doesn't need an agenda. She's awesome.
But if there's an agenda,
an agenda that's underneath that,
exactly, saying we're going to make a female. It's like, no. What's the story? What's the plot? What are the characters? You have no idea what the plot, the story, or the characters are going to be. All you're telling me is it's gonna be women.
But here's the thing,
because apparently you need women, despite all. Let's see, how many Disney movies have we had? We've had 5 Disney fan fiction movies, and the lead has been female in all but one of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. But here's the thing, though, Nev. Dr. Aphra.
So to say it's needed. No, Dr. Aphra isn't.
No, she's not agenda. Well, she's got her own personal agenda, which is to survive and make money and cause chaos. But here's the thing, though. Dr. Aphra's not a story-driven character. It's a character-driven character. It's a character-driven story, right? And
yes.
So because it's a character-driven story and not the other way around, I'm more okay with it.
She's like an anti-hero version of Han Solo.
Yeah, she's an Indiana Jones in the Star Wars universe.
She is. She's the Indiana Jones. She is the Indiana Jones of the Star Wars universe. Yeah. That's what makes her a good character.
Yeah, and
I couldn't give a rat's ass if she was female, alien, a blob. I don't care about her sex because her character is awesome. That's why I don't care about that. That's what's beautiful about it. That, if the character is awesome, you don't give a rat's ass about the gender because you just think awesome character.
Agreed.
Now she is an awesome character. All right. That's just it.
She's Darth Vader's Indiana Jones. We have to get that.
She's Darth Vader's Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And anyone who survives working with Darth Vader for as long as she has is awesome. I mean, you got to know that person's, and who doesn't have the Force. That's the thing. Like, this is a normal person with just smarts. And I love it. I love that character. But like sorry, I just burped.
Joe says, okay, so Maul brings down the Venator and Rex.
Okay, so but to get back to this, we don't know if Ahsoka will be played by what's her face in a further spinoff. Now, as they are escaping, as before they escape, right? Maul is about to jump off the jump. He runs towards the ship. He starts to escape. He starts throwing things at Ahsoka, which is a cool moment, right? That just back and forth between the two, and he
knocks her into the pit with the others.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I missed a part. Before that even happens, how do the clones...
We get his one line of the episode.
Yeah. How do the clones, how are they distracted so that Maul could be The one to
Oh
escape.
yeah, the droids just
Oh.
dropped the elevator underneath them. That was so awesome.
Yeah,
That was
that was
so awesome.
hilarious. But Rex walks out with a gun to Ahsoka, right? And this was an interesting part to me. He's talking to Jesse, who apparently is now in charge of the clone army on the ship, and is like, look, we know that she's not a force. We know that she's not a Jedi.
A Jedi.
We clearly know that, and we need to make sure that we're in the right, so that we're not in the wrong, right? So that we're not the traitors, because the issue is if we get this wrong, we're the ones betraying the Republic. And I loved that moment. I thought it was such a powerful line, you know, and I think to myself, if more people in the clone in the Star Wars, or just in general, thought about their actions before they took them, if they said to themselves, like, am I in the right here before moving, I think that would be a really powerful thing. But the fact that we have Rex asking that question of the clones, and you see Jesse hesitate, you see him hesitate, and I have to believe the inhibitor chip kicked back in, and it's like, nope, you gave us orders, and that order is anyone who's helping the Jedi, and specifically Ahsoka Tano, they need to die. So,
and then they pulled that whole Rex pulled the thing, you know, she's not a Jedi anymore.
yeah.
Which is what I thought was going to happen. That's how I thought that she was originally going to survive.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Because she's a citizen. She is just a citizen of the Republic.
Yeah, and that did not cut mustard with Jesse, and so they open up fire, and right before they do, the droids jump in and drop the elevators, and it just they shoot down, and that was hilarious. And yes, it felt very much like a Home Alone booby trap, but it was awesome. I think the difference between this and Home Alone is the assassination of the booby trapper later on in the episode. We don't see Macaulay Culkin get gunned down by clones or the bad guys. That would have made that movie very different. But later on, we do see that, and that again was a very hard moment. When
I think Junior Darth asks about Wolf and Gregor, they were never 501st.
Yeah,
Wolf and Gregor were not on 501st.
Wasn't one of them didn't one of them work with Cody?
I believe that was Wolf.
Yeah.
If my memory serves, it was Wolf.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I know they weren't 501st. And Gregor at this time he's gone AWOL, right? There was that whole story arc where Gregor Gregor disappeared, and he was like slinging hash and like as a fry cook somewhere, right?
Yeah. He was part of the. By the way, Wolf was part of the 104th, and was also part of course, Wolf Pack.
Yeah, and then I'm actually very curious to know what during all of this, what's going on with the Bad Batch. And did they have the same inhibitor chip? Because I kind of feel like
we had that conversation, didn't we?
Yeah. But so they there's that whole scheme with the elevators dropping. Ahsoka falls in the pit, gets slowly rescued. Again, there's a moment where it looks like she's got shot a couple. Like, I feel like there were a couple of like grazes that Ahsoka got in this episode.
Yeah, she did pick up a couple of blasts.
But as Maul's ship is escaping, Ahsoka pulls a ray and prevents it from escaping, and or at least slows it down. And this was an interesting moment because Rex is again left to defend the two, not killing anyone, right? Just
he's still on stun.
Still on stun.
Instead of straight bolts, it was circular bolts.
And he, she's reaching out with the Force and trying to pull this ship. I don't know what she was hoping for. It's not like Maul was like gonna let the door down and be like, "Oh, okay, fine, just get in," you know. But she eventually lets it go, and he jets off to hyperspace.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the last we see of Maul.
It's not the last we see of Maul because we know what happens to him.
Yes.
It's the last we see them all in the Clone Wars.
So as the ship is continuing to plummet towards the moon, moon, we see this. They're making their stand, and they have nowhere to go, except they're fighting again, and the coolest lightsaber move I've ever seen.
Oh God, yeah, that was so awesome.
Ahsoka throws her blades into the ground and then uses the Force to cut a circle, and they freaking fall, and it is, oh my gosh, that was
do you know that I was thinking I've seen this before, but it was when Ahsoka did it, it was way cooler, and it was what's the vampire werewolf movie with Kate Beckinsale? Underworld. Yeah. She's at the bottom of a hallway. She's got absolutely nowhere to go. There are werewolves coming for her, so she's got both of her semi-automatic pistols, and she fires a circle around her, and then she just drops down through the floor and makes her escape. Yeah. And it was cool then, but nowhere near as cool as Ahsoka doing it with the lightsabers. That she's just, that was such a badass move.
Was so cool.
She made her own elevator.
She did.
Going down.
And Rex was clearly not ready for it, and so they plummet, and they find themselves facing off against the clones that are now at that level.
And the droids, in their heroic way, they pull them back up, but then the droids pay the ultimate price.
They pay the ultimate price.
Again, man, that got me, that droid moment. Because you hear the scream, like you see them chuckling to each other, right? And then the clones walk up and just gun them down, and that.
Yeah, but the droids get brought back, don't they?
Well, droids can get brought back. Are they brought back though?
Well,
we never saw Gigi or Cheap again.
Yeah. There was an R2. I'm skipping to the. I'd be skipping to the end if I explain where I saw them.
All right.
It was, but I saw
next to the Y wing. Next to the Y wing, there were the parts of an R2 unit underneath the wing of the BLT on the moon surface.
Oh.
I don't think it was operable though.
Yeah.
I think it was just that they brought it out.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't operable. It was in pieces.
Okay.
But they've brought it out to repair it.
Yeah.
To fix it. I mean, come on, how many times C-3PO got absolutely blown to smithereens in The Empire Strikes Back, and Chewie put him back together again.
That's true. And so, that could be like towards the end in that final scene, if that's what you saw, then that could be the Empire putting them back together to get information as to what happened. But even then, they wouldn't know the ultimate fate of Rex and or Ahsoka. Although Vader would then know that Rex helped Ahsoka, right? And I've
Well, no, he's talking about it was under the Y. It was under the Y wing, not one
I'm
of the.
talking about it was under the Y wing.
Lambda.
The final scene, the final bit where you see Rex and Ahsoka and they're on the planet's surface and Rex is stood by the ship. Underneath the wing of the BLT was a R2 unit in pieces. So they had gone in and they recovered the droids to obviously put them back together and repair at a later time.
That makes sense. That's very possible. That'd be interesting, actually. Okay. So then there's the fall, right? The race you to the ground moment, right? Rex gets into the Y-wing. He sets everything up. They make their escape just in time. But as they do, Ahsoka's not in the ship. And Ahsoka falls. She's plummeting. And as she plummets, Rex does what he can to save her. And again, another moment where, like, I think all of us collectively held our breath.
Yeah. We were like, come on,
come on, cheering her on.
Yeah.
First time I've ever cheered for a Jedi.
Oh, come on, the first. Oh, like I man, that was so hard to sit through as we were watching that. I didn't know. And again, I know what happened. We know what happens to Ahsoka. And it was so powerful that yeah, the look in her eyes as she's falling and like waiting for something, for something to grab onto, for something to help. Now, Nev mentioned in the live stream, the watch party, that Jedis don't really need parachutes to make it to the ground.
That's true.
She probably would have been fine even had Rex not. She may have been a little more banged up, a little worse for the wear, but man, that just all that was going on, the smoke, the debris, everything. Yeah, praise that art department. That was they did their work amazingly well. And like they get to the ground, the crash, and then it's later. Right? Am I missing anything?
Yeah.
It's just
No. Right, that's it. It's over. It's May the 4th. Let's go celebrate. What episode are you watching?
Yeah, it's just later.
I'm going to go watch A New Hope.
I'm actually probably going to watch episode 9, to be honest. My wife hasn't seen it yet, and she sees all of these memes, and it's now streaming, and it's like, why haven't I watched it? I'm like,
May the 4th. It's got to be original trilogy.
I'm on 3 because I was too busy to flip through to watch the movies today at work.
Yeah.
Even just listening to them, I was,
I will say I have watched The Princess Bride twice.
I watched it last night.
Since it hit Disney Plus, I have watched it twice now because I love that movie. And everybody needs to watch the Disney, the Obi-Wan Kenobi mall version of the scene where you've got Indigo and Wesley at the top and on the cliff face, because that is brilliant.
Okay.
I'm going to look that up. In fact, while we're in the stream, I'll find it and I'll put the link in the.
All right, but here's.
I'll put the link in chat.
But before we go, there's 2 final scenes that we need to talk about, and
oh yeah, we do.
And it's that the first thing that you see is a landed Y-wing, or the first thing.
Oh, Lambda shuttle.
No. Like I'm talking about with Rex and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And you see the Y-wing, and you see Rex putting up what looks like a shovel, right? Just reattaching it to the ship somehow. Yeah. Which I find it odd that they would attach a shovel to the outside of a ship. Just throwing that out there. But he's put in, and it goes back over, the fog clears, and you see graves. And they've gone through and they have rescued not rescued.
Well,
They've
not
recovered the bodies
They've recovered.
of the clones and buried them, and that is such a powerful moment. Because if you think about it, like how often has Rex left comrades on the battlefield and not been able to do that? And here he's burying the people that were trying to kill him, his brothers, but they're still his brothers. And that got me, man. That was just a powerful moment. And you know, you've got the helmets on sticks, and Ahsoka standing there in her cowl, right? The cowl that's, you know, we see in Rebels. In Rebels, and she's looking at her lightsaber and she just drops it. Right? Now, this,
and only one. She's got two. She drops one lightsaber.
I can confirm that she drops two. We only see one fall, but she does end up putting both of them down. In the book Ahsoka, opening scene, opening moment is her, after having taken Maul down, talking about how she and Rex faked their death. And it was like, in the moment I was like, okay. And I thought there was another scene that would be happening with, I'm sorry, spoiler duck. If anyone is interested in,
it's gone now.
So,
too late.
Now this is the opening scene, not the closing scene. But it is essentially the same kind of scenario. It's kind of a montage now, looking back on it, where it's the end of the Siege of Mandalore and the beginning, and this end as well, kind of juxtaposed, put together. And it's powerful, right? And now that I've seen this ending, it's just all the more. You know, it's just all the more.
It made it more powerful.
Really more powerful. Unlimited power is what it made it. And just, yeah. Then
we get the Lambda landing.
And you see snowtroopers. You see people walking around. You see
stormtroopers,
droids. You see the probe droid.
You see a stormtrooper, and that's when as soon as I saw the stormtrooper, I'm like, oh, they flashed forwards.
And then you hear the breathing, and like what's interesting, and again, they do this in the cartoons pretty well. We saw it in Rebels when Vader showed up. His movements aren't as stiff, right? This is Vader still fairly new to the suit, right? And I'm sure he's still in pain, but it's not stopping him from being flexible, you know? And he just slowly strolls up to the grave, and he bends down, he picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber, and he turns it on. And it's Vader holding the blue lightsaber. The last thing that he gave Ahsoka Tano is sitting there in the snow.
That he made for her.
Yeah. And, oh, man, just chills, man. Chills. Powerful, powerful moment.
And then we get an image of Vader in one of the Ahsoka troopers' helmets.
Yeah.
As he walks away.
Oh, I even forgot about that. Oh my gosh, the reflection from as he walks away, just powerful. Like he turned his back on the 501st. It just, or the way they were. Oh my gosh, he's different from everything that he was to become. Oh yeah, chills, Junior Darth, chills. Now, I gotta say, and I won't spoil this, but on Disney Plus right now they have the gallery, The Mandalorian. And one of the things that they mention, it's this first episode talks about the different directors that the Mandalorian sees, or have worked on the Mandalorian so far, and one of the quotes from that episode was, Dave Filoni gets Star Wars in a way that others don't. And I'm paraphrasing this, but it's like Dave Filoni is what Star Wars needs for the future of Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
And this episode is an example of that. Now it was asked, let's do a quick rate, but it was asked if you were to have watched all 4 of these in a row, which I think we will all go back and do now.
Yes.
Would it change the way you're seeing each episode?
Yes.
Okay. Do you find that they would be better together than separate?
Oh God, yeah. This would have been better as a movie.
I 100% agree.
The whole thing would have just been better as one continuous movie. And there's no doubt in the back of my mind that somebody is going to sail the high seas, get these 4 episodes, edit all 4 of them together, and they will be somewhere on the internet within the next
day or so,
48 hours.
Yeah.
Easily.
100%.
Because when I watch this again, I want to watch it again without having to watch each of the 4 episodes. I want the next time I want to watch this in one go. I don't want to watch it with part 1, part 2. I just want to see an intro, all 4 bits, no gaps, end. Yeah. That's how I want to watch it. And there's already a petition. Apparently, there's somebody's put something up to make this make it a feature length with any of the cut scenes. And put it on Disney Plus as a feature presentation,
and
which I think that they could totally do if they put back in all of the stuff that was put on the cutting room floor.
Oh my gosh!
Imagine all of the scenes, all of the scenes that were put, all of the scenes that hit the cutting room floor would make this, because obviously you've got 420s, so you've got an hour 20. There's got to be at least 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes worth of cut scenes that can be put into this to make it a feature length. I mean, if they sold it as a DVD, I don't buy DVDs, but I would bloody buy that.
I'd buy it.
I would be on Amazon ordering it straight away.
Right.
If they put it on sale, 8 million sales straight away. I would say 8 to 10 million pre-orders for something like that. If they just said, we'll make it here, you can pre-order it, 8 to 10 million pre-orders, guaranteed.
Hands down. And it is such, I think it would be so much better as a feature. And this is the hope. This is what I don't think he will say this tomorrow, but this is what my hope is for Dave Filoni's interview tomorrow. If I could have him say anything, it would be, in addition to this, we are planning Dark Disciple as a feature-length film. We are planning these others as feature-length films. These story arcs that were cut, we're cutting them back in, and they'll be on Disney Plus. Or whatever, and I'd go nuts. I mean, I just remember how happy I was when they canceled Futurama. Not that they canceled Futurama, but when they brought it back in those episodes, in those movies. I bought all 4 of those movies that they later turned into mini episodes. And I think people would pay for those. I think people would come to Disney Plus for those because they're awesome. And they would.
They need to. They really, really, really need to learn how to properly market what the fans universally love. We will, we can be at loggerheads for all we like for the movies or this movie or that movie or this comic or that comic or this comic or that book. But we are one thing we can all agree on is when it comes to the Mandalorian and the Clone Wars, we are universally in love with those shows. There's no real argument or issues with any Star Wars fan from any generation regarding the Clone Wars or the Mandalorian. So when it comes to this stuff, they need to do what we want. They need to give in to the fan base because it's not part of the fan base that wants it. It's all of the fan base that wants it.
Yeah. Hands down.
And I would like to see Dave Filoni announce on this TV show tomorrow that he's become the creative director for Lucasfilm. That would be an awesome announcement.
My heart would melt. Like, it would be. Oh my gosh, you guys have.
I mean, that would be an awesome Revenge of the Fifth Day, wouldn't it? That would be an awesome Revenge of the Fifth Day.
Because if it happens, can you imagine what that would, how, like, the metaphor that is? You have someone who is corporate, in the sense of Kathleen Kennedy dictating from the start what things are going to be, right? Building hype and then unleashing what she did. Then you have an unknown who was trained by the master, who comes in and overthrows. I mean,
yes, the apprentice becomes the master.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And again, that's metaphor and whatever, but oh man, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Anyways, gentlemen, final thoughts. Paul, I'll start with you, and then Nev, and then I'll wrap it up.
So, when we're saying final thoughts here, my question to you is, the series, the final season overall. I'm going to give the final season a 4 because of the middle 4 episodes.
Okay.
For the initial arc, I keep it a 5. The middle arc, I'm gonna stay a 3.5. This final arc, even with the slowness of episode 4, I absolutely give it a 5. Episode 3, I mean, of the 4. It's certainly something to go back on. This final episode itself was a 5. Yep. I wish there was more. I do.
Yeah, I agree. Nev?
Possibly the best time I've spent watching Star Wars, without a doubt, definitely. All 7 seasons, very, very. And Paul knows this, and you know this. I have never been a Clone Wars fanboy. I'm in my 40s, so I will forever be a original trilogy fanboy, just because of my age. So I was never a Clone Wars fanboy, but when we discussed and announced, and talked about talking clones immediately after talking Mando, I then instantly went back and back to back binged watched 1 to 6. And I thoroughly enjoyed them. Wasn't a fanboy of them, but the way that 6 ended, it's like I was on board with everybody else for 7. So when 7 kicked in, obviously we had those incredible first 4 episodes, which were a 5 to me, because I'd watched the previous seasons and I was invested in the characters. So yeah, the Clone Wars narrative, loved that first 4. Thought it was brilliant. They were a 5 to me. I'm with Paul on episodes 5 to 8. I think it was unnecessary. It was good, good. I'm not going to say it was bad. It wasn't that it was bad. It was it wasn't what I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch Ahsoka. So yeah, I'm with Paul on that. 5, 4, and then obviously these last 4 episodes were just, so wonderful to watch. The cinematography was excellent. The score was incredible, just eerie, the hairs sticking up on the back of my neck, eerie. It was truly wonderful to watch and to listen to. And I mean, I actually like the the slow pace. So it was a 5 to me, and it's sad. You've got the happiness, the joy, and the sadness that it's come to an end. And you only feel sad about something coming to an end when you truly love and are invested in the show itself. If a show ends and you don't care, it wasn't that good. If a show ends and you're sad that it's ended, well, clearly it's had some kind of an emotional attachment. You've had some kind of an emotional attachment to it. And that's how I feel about the Clone Wars now. So, I'm gutted that it is now. I'm literally gutted that it is now over, but I will be rewatching, it when someone puts it together. And please, Disney, if you want to make money out of this, get the damn 4 things together before somebody sails the high seas and does it for you. All right? Because if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Agreed.
And you'll miss out on all the cheddar. So, but I'm gonna be like Paul. I cannot forgive the middle 4 episodes. So season overall is going to be a 4 for me.
I have to go back and I have to say I'm going to take off 0.001 point. There was no Hondo.
There was no Hondo. And that was disappointing. It was, but I won't remove a point for no Hondo. I want Hondo to have his own series. But I think I'm right there with you guys. I think this final season was just breathtaking. I don't think is too strong a word. There were definitely moments that those first 4 episodes were just so powerful and fun and action packed, and it was everything that we've come to love about Star Wars. And it, especially with the Clone Wars, it was funny, it was powerful, it was cool, right? But then it dropped a bit in the middle. Now, I do think that intention-wise, it gave Ahsoka a little bit to dwell on. I think that it has more of an impact outside of the series on her character than it does inside. And that's not necessarily what I wanted, but I can kind of sense the feeling behind it. Not my favorite. It does lose points a little bit from there. But any points that it lost during the Martez arc, I think absolutely is made up for in these final 4 episodes. It is so powerful and so well put together, and it was so cool to see Order 66 from the perspective of someone who's, like she said, she knows what the Jedi are supposed to be, and she knows what she is, and it is just such a powerful ending, right? Because it's not an ending, right? It doesn't end. It just changes and becomes something new, and that I love. I say 5 all across the board. This episode was a 5. I like Nev. I liked the episode 3, that slow dramatic build, and I think we can all agree, as a feature-length film, there would be no problem with it. But as an individual episode, yeah, it did kind of drag, but it was the suspensefulness, right? It was the artsy episode for the arc. It was this was amazing to me, and I've loved every week talking with you guys about this. This has been so much fun. Thank you everyone for joining us week in and week out, and for those who came to the live stream the watch party. That was pretty freaking awesome. Breath was held the whole time during that episode tonight. So great. Any final words, guys? What do you have coming up this week?
On the Twitch channel, since GAC is over for the week or a week or two, they got to reboot it. Don't worry. But since that's going on, standard Jackbox and Marbles, and then on Friday we'll have episode 64. We are 8 squared now. So instead of a Nintendo 64, it's episode 64 of the Escape Podcast, and I think that CG is going to get some applause.
I think they might too. We will find something to Nev and we were talking about. We need to find something that we can watch, that we can do a weekly podcast.
Yeah, we need something. We need something nerdy.
Yep.
We need something from nerddom.
Yeah. And Junior Darth threw $5 at you and said,
yeah, Rebels actually wouldn't be a terrible place to go with this. We could even do comics and or some of the books. I think that could be fun too.
Well, I can't get my hands on them right now because my comic store is still under
the core
non-essential.
I don't.
Your comic store is still not out of business.
That's just wrong, because we all know that comics are an essential business. They just are.
Yeah.
Anyways, we will find something and we will let you guys know what we will be doing next.
Uh-oh. And Junior's doing Cooking with Qui-Gon. He needs one more recipe.
Oh, yes, it does. It does. Okay. Are you ready for this? Junior Darth? Okay, so I'm going to give you...
So for those who don't know what's going on, for 3 of the last 4 episodes, we gave a recipe because we didn't enjoy the Martez arcs. Then we ended up, parlaying
going off on massive tangents.
Massive tangents.
So the finale of Cooking Clones with Neil Andrew Eyre. Take it away, Neil.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a recipe for the most tasty twice baked potato. Okay, now this goes well with ribs. It goes well with chicken. But so you take a jacket potato. Okay, you bake it just like a regular jacket spud. So if you're doing it in the microwave, it needs about 8 minutes if you've got one of those jacket potato bags that you put it in for the microwave. If not, you're doing it in the oven. Now, once you've done your jacket potato, you take it out, you cut it in half, and you scoop out the insides, and you just put that to one side because you're going to mash that up. Okay? So you scoop it all out, put that to one side. You take your 2 halves of jacket potato and you put them upside down. You put them in the oven at 400 degrees. Now, on the top, you spray a little bit of olive oil and you sprinkle some sea salt on the top because that'll help it go crispy. Okay, so you need to do that for about 15 minutes. And while they're in the oven for 15 minutes, you take the potato that you've just scooped out of your jacket spuds and you're going to mash that up. But you're not just going to mash it up. You're going to take these ingredients and you're going to mix it in with. So you take 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of sour cream. You take a sprinkling of chives and a teaspoon of crushed garlic. You mix all of that up and then you mix that in with the mash and you mix all of that up. And after you've had 15 minutes in the oven with your 2 halves of potato, you take them out and you scoop all of this in and you put it back in the potato. Now, you can, if you like, sprinkle some cheese over the top, but you put it back in the oven and you let it sit in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes at 400, take them out, serve them. They are to die for, trust me.
And there you go.
And there you
Cooking Clones with Neil
I'm
Andrew
gonna throw
Eyre.
this at you. He gave you a potato. I just made some ribs. Okay? Now, I don't have a grill, but this is what I did. Okay? Set your oven to 275. Get yourself a big stack of ribs, however you want to do it. Take a cup, half a cup? No, a cup of brown sugar. Oh, hold on, first off, put the ribs, Dr. Pepper, 2 cans of Dr. Pepper, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of what's the other stuff? crap.
Must
Worcester
not be that
sour
important.
sauce. And
Okay.
a tablespoon.
Worcester sauce.
Whatever.
Worcester sauce.
And then 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. Okay? Because you're going with this in the oven, you don't get that rich smoky flavor, and so you got to add it artificially. It's cheating, but it still tastes good, right? You marinate it however long you want. I left it in for a couple of hours. You could do it for like a day. It would work just as well. Okay. Take it out of the marinade, put it on tin foil, okay? On the tin foil, once it's not dry, but at least not like soaking wet, you make your rub. A cup of brown sugar, tablespoons of garlic powder, garlic or onion powder, smoked paprika, and chili powder, right? Mix that all up. Now here's the thing. This is the important thing, okay? You get peppercorn and mustard seed, and you smash the absolute hell out of it, okay? I have a pestle and mortar, so one of those old-timey like herb grinders, and so like when I'm breaking that up, it just gives this like great flavor. Then you mix all that crap together and just season the ever-living hell out of it. Top, bottom, and then you throw it in the oven for 3 hours, and then take it out. Oh, and you tinfoil the hell out of it. Make sure it's all tinfoiled up, right? Then, last 10 minutes, take your favorite barbecue sauce, slather it, and then put it on broil for 10 minutes. Now, here's the thing. If you put it on a high broil, you got to be very careful not to burn it. I put it on high broil, and I ended up talking to my brother for 10 minutes and spaced it. And I got it a little crispier than I would have liked, but it was delicious. It was so damn good that it was...
Yeah, twice baked potatoes do go very, very well with ribs. They go very well with ribs.
That is why I suggested it.
All right.
So,
and now finally, my personal favorite dish that my wife cooks for me. We call it steaky noodles. There is, if you look up steaky noodles, you may very well find the video that before I knew anything about, not, remembering to wash your hands in between, spices and all that. But you might find that video. But nonetheless, here is the recipe. You get a New York strip steak, preferably 2, about 1 inch thick. You cut off the fat on that New York strip steak. You want the steak to be lean. What you then do is then you cut it to about the size of your thumb, tall, wide, but you want about rectangles. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a cayenne-based spice, cayenne and garlic and onion. You're going to get that. Then you're going to get garlic powder and onion powder. You're going to put the 3 of those on your cut up pieces of steak, and you're going to knead it in. Wash your hands. Do it again. Put all 3 spices on top. So you're going to do this 3 times. So it's fully done. Then you're going to get yourself Japanese udon noodles, which you can get at your local Japanese market. Asian markets carry udon noodles. They're thick rice noodles. You're not going to want those really thin ones. And then you also get, and ironically, it's Panda Express orange sauce. You're going to get an electric skillet. You're going to start cooking the meat until it's about medium. You're going to cough because it's going to be, going all, you're going to be cooking that the spice that you've essentially coated. Once it's at about medium, then you're going to add the udon noodles that you've brought to a boil, you've prepared. You're going to add those udon noodles, stir in a little bit, and then the next part is you're going to add the Panda Express orange sauce. Pour that into a big bowl. Grab yourself chopsticks or a fork, depending on what you like. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have steaky noodles.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
But there is a video that'll give you more information.
You've got a lot to cook there, Darth.
Woo. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We will let you know which nerddom we choose. And I like the idea of Rebels. Maybe see it as a little more of Space Aladdin. Space Aladdin. Ezra.
Yeah, I mean, it would give us a lot. We got 4 seasons if we do one episode a week.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe like via story arc, if we did it. But we'll talk about it and we'll let you guys know.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out when Mandalorian comes out. We'll split it up. It up.
So,
and we'll watch that many episodes.
There you go.
But that's a theory. We haven't put that in stone yet, but we'll see. Maybe we take a week off this week. Who knows?
So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been Paul, Nev, and of course Thaddeus for Talking Clones. Thank you for being with us week in, week out, and we will let you guys know when we will be back. Let's take this week off, and then we'll come back the following week with something. And we will let you know beforehand what that is going to be and where you can catch all of that information. You can catch the gentlemen above and below me on their Twitch streams and on Discord. And you can catch me on...
And where fine podcasts are found, like Spotify, Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.
All of those things. And you can catch me here on YouTube at Going Nerdy. And... this has been Thaddeus and the guys. Paul, end us.
No problem. Remember to wash your hands, be nice to each other, damn it, and remember to smile.
And stay nerdy. Did it end? I can't tell.